Ladies and gentlemen, it's TNG. In this video, we're going to be answering the question of how did the world end in the Fallout series, and we're going to be doing it as simply as we can to to make that clear to you. Anyhow, with that being said, let's get cracking. Right then, so I think it's pretty obvious due to the title of the series and what we can see through the games and TV shows, the world ended due to a nuclear war. More specifically, a war between China and America that lasted for less than an hour, but still turned the planet into absolute shit. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the Great War of October 2077. Simply lovely. Now, the Great War weren't some random isolated event. It was actually the culmination of a conflict known as the Sino-American War. And while China and America had been doing things for years to piss each other off before the war got hot, it was China who struck first in 2066 by attacking Alaska. However, it is important to note, America hadn't actually helped situations. The whole reason everything was so tense is because of a lack of resources. 10 points if you can guess what that is. Yep, that's right, you at the back. Oil. Yeah, it's starting to sound a little bit too realistic, this, isn't it? But anyhow, by the time of the Sino-American War, the world's oil reserves had been pretty much used up. There'd actually been a conflict in Europe and the Middle East known as the Resource Wars, but that's a story for another time. All you gotta know is, for the purposes of this story, America had the last little bit of oil left, and that was in Alaska. And they was also refusing to sell it to anybody, whilst promoting fusion power, which they'd just created, and also not allowing anybody else to use it. You can see why China got just a little bit annoyed, can't you? Anyhow, at the start of this video, I told you I were going to keep it simple, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So let's fast forward a few years. Fighting in Alaska had been going on for the best part of a decade. Canada had actually been annexed by America as well at this point, and despite the fact the United States had classed this as a defensive war, they'd actually launched an invasion on China, and in some places they were making significant headway, mainly down to the fact that America had power armor and the Chinese didn't. And I'm talking about proper power armor, not the power armor we see in the Amazon TV show, because as much as I love it, I don't think it looks very convincing, but anyway, I digress. To cut a long story short, the war wasn't going very well for China by the year 2077. Despite the fact China had used biological weapons against America, which the US responded in kind with in the form of FEV, it wasn't looking good for them. US troops had pushed deep into the Chinese mainland, and the troops in Alaska were starting to suffer from a lack of supply. By this point in the war, the only real threat the Chinese posed was with its nuclear weapons. And on the morning of Saturday, October 23rd, 2077, Chinese subs were spotted making the way towards America. Less than 10 hours later, the first nuclear bombs landed in New York and Pennsylvania at 9:42 a.m. Now, it's important to note that we're still not 100% sure who launched the nukes first. It's quite a highly debated topic, but I think a lot of resources, including Chris Avalon's Fallout Bible, do say China. I could be mistaken on that one, but I'm pretty damn sure that's what it says. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments. Either way, the end result is what we see in the Fallout TV series and the Fallout games. Utter destruction. Aye, there you go. A nice, pleasant and uplifting story to end your evening with. As I said, guys, this is just a really simple overview of it. If you do want to see a more in-depth video covering all the events of the war and whatnot, then please let me know down below. Anyhow, as we say it north, I'll love you and leave you, and I'll catch you next one. Have fun, everybody.